Welcome to the Hunt League podcast, where we share hunting stories from the field that help pave the way for others to follow.
I squeeze it off, but I hear thwack, and I see him lunge up, and I'm like, you made a mistake, buddy. Got him.
This is your host, Jared Newman. Let's get started. All right, welcome back to the Hunt League podcast. Today is Finalist number 3 of 4 in the 2025 Outdoorsman of the Year. I know a lot of people have been waiting to hear these stories. Without further ado, this is somebody that many in the Hunt League community already know. Cody has been the winner of the On Point Experience. He's won the Western Hunter. So it's no surprise to see you back, Cody. Go ahead and give us a little bit of who you are, and then we'll dive right in.
Yeah, so my name is Cody. I live in Oregon. I have a beautiful wife and 2 kids here with one on the way that will be here next month. I started big game hunting in 2018. Before that, I was solely a turkey hunter, shown a better way through YouTube. And I started big game hunting in 2018. Did my first out-of-state hunt in 2023, and the addiction has just gotten worse since then.
Dude, I would say it's gotten way worse for you.
It is. It's gotten so bad, I got to tone it down a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of like the origin story of my hunting in a very brief synopsis.
When you're talking about potentially, toning it down, what does that look like practically? Are you still putting in for 3, 4, 5, 6 states this year? What's happening?
Yeah, so I should clarify. I'm still putting in all these dates, but if I draw the tag, it's one of those tags where you cancel all your other plans to go. Like in Arizona, I put in for Arizona. I mean, you got to keep up with it, otherwise you lose your loyalty point. And so I kept up with it, but I just put in for the hunts that are like the September rifle hunts. They take 30 plus points to draw. The odds of drawing are less than 1%. So it's one of those things where if I draw that hunt, I'll just cancel all my other plans for the rest of the year. And we'll know in a couple weeks. So it's like, I'll just cancel everything. It's probably the only state I'll actually probably put in for. I was going to put in for a couple others, but I decided not to. And then I'll just buy points and the other ones. Like Colorado, there's no, if I don't try and hunt Colorado, which is the only state that I'm contemplating hunting, if I don't hunt, then there's no point in applying. You just buy a point. So otherwise, I'm still putting in. I'm still buying points, but it'll be one of those things where if I draw, you drop everything to go do.
I gotcha. Now, a lot of people looking from the outside in, not just this season, but the last couple of years, just looking like, oh my gosh, this guy keeps winning. What kind of luck does he have? Like, he has the Paratore magic, because it's not like you've only won things inside the Hunt League app. This past year, you won a big thing with Cliff Gray, who's, I would say, a relatively big influencer on YouTube and social media. Tell us a little bit about that. That doesn't even have to do with an accomplishment in the field. That's just something that you had the opportunity to be a part of this year and walked away again with some Paratore magic and won something special. So what was that?
I've just been fairly lucky. I don't, I put myself in the right place at the right time as I guess part of it. I mean, you can't be lucky if you're not trying. But yeah, no, I just been very blessed. I've been lucky in that aspect of getting my name drawn out of a hat. Like with that one, I wasn't expecting it. I didn't believe it at first. I will admit that. I've been very lucky when it comes to getting my name drawn out of a hat. But I also play the game everywhere. Like my Arizona tag. I apply. It's like these things, they pop up. I don't know. They pop up on Facebook. Hey man, enter our giveaway. I'm like, all right. I just entered one yesterday. There was Onyx and Hunting Fool are partnering up to give away a hunt in Colorado. I was like, why not, dude? I just been lucky every once in a while that my name actually gets pulled out of the hat.
No, I mean, that Arizona tag that you drew last year, that's one of those situations. I'm kind of the opposite end of that spectrum. Every time I apply, even with the points that it should take to draw, it's like, hey, not this year, maybe next year, bud. I need a little bit of your luck to rub off on me. Now, part of that package that you won, did that include a Colorado elk hunt?
It's a cow elk hunt. And I may end up actually giving it away. I still got to work on the details with him. I keep procrastinating. We were supposed to do it last year, but they had a super, super strict time frame on when I needed to come out. And I just was so busy last year. I couldn't squeeze in another week-long trip. But yeah, it's a guided cow elk hunt, but I have a feeling we're going to end up giving it away to a youth. So I got to talk to him, though, and work out all those details. But I've been incredibly blessed. So we're thinking about just spreading the love around.
I love it. Let's dive right in to your 2025 season.
Yeah, so it started off in March with finding out that I drew Arizona, which I didn't even find out till like 2 weeks after results came out. I didn't even check. I only had 3 points or 4 points, whatever it is. I always put in a might as well, throw the Hail Mary for the first choice and then something that's quote unquote realistic for your second choice. I had like 4% chance of drawing. So I didn't check, but I was looking at my credit card statement and there was $650 hit. I'm pretty sure that's how much an elk tag costs. And so then I had to go on and looked and yeah, I drew. Learned that in March and April. Turkey hunting season started, and like this year, I wanted to do things differently. I've been very very busy in the past years too. I mean, I've done an out of state hunt every year since 23, and it sometimes gets in the way of family. And then I also hunt Oregon, right? I mean, I got elk tag in Oregon, deer tags in Oregon, turkey tags in Oregon. You could bear hunt in Oregon. Oregon's very not a great state to hunt, but it's very opportunistic. And so I'm gone a lot. I mean, you probably see from like my hunt log that I hunt a lot, and so I'm trying to incorporate family this year was my big priority. I wanted my family to be a part of all of my hunting, especially my kids, even if it meant sacrificed opportunity. And so I started off with turkey season. Pre-season, I just would load the family up. My hunting spots are about 45 minutes to an hour from my house. And we would just bomb over there for an evening and we'd just go drive or we'd go walk on these logging roads, calling, just trying to find birds, getting the kids excited, throwing rocks, eating snacks. And so that's kind of how it started. Then I did turkey season, killed one bird right opening day. That I had scouted with my kids. And then, like I said, we can dive into these deeper if you want. I'll hit them all quickly. And then right after that, a couple days later, I took my son out and we actually killed a turkey together, which is a little bit unbelievable that I killed a turkey with my 4-year-old boy. Packed a blind.
You have that one on video, right?
Yeah,
Like you have a
I
little bit.
filmed the whole thing. Yeah, it was awesome. He's in there dancing and stuff, but packed all his stuff, our blind, everything, like over a mile from the truck to get to where I thought these birds would be hanging out. And it worked out, which is just unbelievable that it actually worked. If you watch the video, like he's pounding snacks, drinking his water, talking the whole time these birds are strutting their way in. And then after that, I had a spring bear tag, but I didn't really hunt it. Spring bear is more like I kill all my turkeys. I'll go look for a bear. Like I just love turkey hunting too much. I don't even think I truly hunted the spring bear tag. And then I went to summertime, did a little bit of hunting in the summer over in Eastern Oregon. We went camping and they have invasive sheep in Oregon. It's like very far and few between, but like they have mouflon sheep, like the Deschutes, John Day area there's like legends of them. I've seen pictures of them and stuff. But while we were over there camping, I took my boy out for 2 different days and we just hiked around the edges of these canyons where there's like posts online that people have seen them and stuff like that. We didn't see anything, but we tried finding a sheep.
How
And
cool would
then
that be?
dude, that would be so cool. I was really hoping. And then when I got there and I saw how deep the canyons were that I was glassing into, I was like, man, if we kill, it's gonna be an adventure with him. And then I did NRL Hunter. I did 2 matches last year. In the spring, I did one, and then in the summer, I did one. Actually pulled off second place in my first ever like competing match. I did skills the first time, which is like your learn training wheels. There's no rules for you really. I didn't know how any of this worked. And then I went to the second matchup in Washington, and I don't know how I squeezed out a second place finish. And then after that was Wyoming. I think Wyoming was next. So I didn't do any archery this year.
Yeah, you skipped archery altogether.
No,
You become
I've
a
seen the
rifleman.
light. Yeah, I saw a better way. And so yeah, no, I didn't do any archery. So I think we did a little bit of fall bear hunting. I found one bear with my son, but it was just too quick. Like he popped up and then he was gone, and so it didn't offer me the opportunity to shoot him. And it was getting dark, so I didn't want to like really try that hard because if I kill him, then I got to look for him with my son in the dark. We're like an hour and a half from the house. Like there's no one that's going to come get him. And then after that was Wyoming. So then we went to Wyoming. I kept in contact with this landowner that I had met when we were in 23. I met him and formed that connection. Kept in contact with him. He came out, went fishing with us in the summertime. My dad and I took him out. I went over there. We killed, as you probably heard, a lot of animals in a very short amount of time.
8 for 8. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So these areas that I have picked out over there are from connections I made in 23. It's a mix of private and public. But yeah, if we didn't have the connection, we would not have been as successful, to be honest.
All right, you're talking about like playing the odds. I mean, you can't draw or you can't win unless you put in.
Yeah.
And that's been your philosophy in multiple fronts. Like one of the things that you do, I think, better than most, or maybe you're kind of leading the charge on that inside the hunting community is when you've drawn some of these tags, you've done due diligence and reached out to landowners. You did a whole letter campaign. I mean, you sent
Did
letters
it
to just
again.
about every landowner in
Yeah.
the vicinity,
Yeah, in
and
20
you're just playing the odds. Like eventually
exactly,
a
yeah.
couple of them said yes, and
Worst
then
thing they
that
say is
led.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do. I play the odds in that aspect. I've done that almost every time I go somewhere. I mean, worst case, they say no. You already had a no anyways to start with. But in 23, I sent out 64 letters to every single landowner that was in the unit. I mean, because they just own such large tracts of land out there, to every single landowner that touched a public road. And most of them said no, or they probably just threw my letter in the garbage. But yeah, this guy was one of the few that got back to me. And that's how I made the connection with him. And I did the same thing again this year. My big thing is like, yes, I can be very lucky in the field, but I also am lucky because of the things I do is kind of my philosophy. Like
exactly.
you gotta know where to be, when to be. You can't be lucky. Like some people get lucky driving down the road, but that's not usually me. But I'm lucky because I make these connections. I find these landowners that are willing to go. I do the research. I know where the animals want to be, when they want to be there, all that different stuff. So like the luck and the aspect of filling all these tags, yeah, it was because of the work that I put in beforehand. So like I did all those letters in 23. I maintained that relationship for the last 2 years. Took him out here, go fishing, like all that different stuff. And then in this year, 26, I did a letter campaign again. Once I found out that I drew an antelope tag in the neighboring unit, it's like 90% private. And so
Yeah,
I did a letter campaign with the hope that I could get permission to hunt with my son because antelope is such a great youth thing. So then we went to Wyoming. I actually got a couple landowners that said yes. And one of them was huge. They owned like 3,000 acres of prime habitat for antelopes, flat ground farmland, which they also then backed up to like 2,000 acres of state land. And so it was just an awesome. And this dude was so nice. He called me and he was like, "Hey man, you bring your kid and yeah, you can go hunting. Take him hunting." He's like, "I'm not going to charge you a hunting fee, no trespass fee, no trophy fee." He's like, "You kill the biggest antelope you can find. Just bring your son and take him hunting." He's like, "I got kids of my own." He's like, "And getting them introduced to the outdoors is the most important thing you can do." And so I was so blessed to have that opportunity. That's ended up where I killed my antelope. But we went to Wyoming, went mule deer hunting, went antelope hunting, filled those tags, killed my biggest antelope, killed my biggest mule deer, did the antelope with my kid and my mom and my dad. So it was like my dad's first antelope hunt, my mom's first hunt in general. She's never been a part of any of that before. And then my son, he's been hunting with me before this, but it was his first like big game animal kill. And so
yeah,
it was just like a full circle. Like I wouldn't say it was, I didn't grind it out. I went there and on day two, we killed him on the first evening, like the opportunity that I was given because I put in the work of finding this guy that was willing to let me.
exactly.
Because we went to public land, we looked and looked and looked. We saw zero antelope on public land that we could hunt, and so it's like but I put in the work to find this, so I could make the memories for me and my kid. So we went to Wyoming, we did that, and then I came back to Oregon. I killed a buck.
When was Wyoming?
Yeah,
It was October, right?
opens October 1st. We got there on the 29th. So we did
Okay.
2 days of scouting. And then we came back in like October 23rd, I think it was. I killed a buck in Oregon with my son. Right here by where we live, there's a special tag in this area. It's technically under the doe series, but it's good for one deer. It's kind of like a management hunt. It's 99% private land in here. I drew the tag this year. It's like once every 3 years you'll get it or so. And so I drew the tag, and yeah, just so happened to be able to take my son with me because we live here at the nursery now, and so it's like there was deer over there, and so I just ran home and got him, and we went over there and we made the stalk. We snuck in and we ended up shooting this buck together. And like, dude, he was standing right next to me. He even looked through the scope a couple times. Well, because we were just waiting because they were right on the edge of huntable land and private land, and I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we were good. And so like we waited for the buck to come back out, and yeah, he just was looking through the scope, and he's like, "That's so cool," and then told him plug his ears and wham, let the deer have it. And then he was there for that, and then he got to be there for the cleaning process and everything.
I know
Yeah.
you said at the beginning when you did your intro, like you have a son, you have a daughter, you have one on
Mhm.
the way coming in the next month. Just so everybody knows, how old is your son?
He's 4 years old, or he was.
S-
He's 5 now, but he was 4 all last year. He just turned 5.
So when you're talking about putting a 4-year-old in a blind
Yeah. Yeah.
and being successful, I mean, this is an uphill fight. And then
Oh, yeah.
also,
Yeah.
when you said the nursery, what do you mean
Yeah,
you
it's my
live in
family's
the
business.
nursery?
Yeah, my
Okay.
family's in the nursery industry, supplying wholesale plants, and so
Okay.
that's what we do. But yeah, my son's 4, so that's why I said in the beginning, like, I was gonna be super intentional about taking my family to do stuff. knowing full well the odds of killing something are so slim. Because my daughter's 2, so I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old that I'm toting around the woods. That like this year, I didn't care if I killed animals this year. You know, like I wanted them to have experience. I want them like I'm so scared that they're gonna grow up and not want to go hunting with me. You know, and so it's like I want them to have fun. You know, I want them to go out. So like we pack so many snacks. I got all kinds of stuff to keep them entertained. But yeah, so like these times where we're going out scouting or we're hiking these back roads or we're just driving for hours on end. Yeah, it's with a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and then my wife is with us when we're scouting most of the time. So yeah, it's a challenge with them. There's times where it's definitely like not going to work out. Like I took them fall bear hunting one time. It's not a kid's activity. They got so bored because you're just driving. You get out like in Oregon, yeah, Western Oregon, you've been. You get out, you look in the little clear cut, nothing. You get back in the truck, you drive to the next one, or you sit a spot for hours on end. They were not about that. So we learned that that's not a way to get kids into hunting. I tried finding these higher opportunity odds, and so we did that with my son. And then it was like 5 days later, the 28th of October, I took my daughter. So I'd killed with my son twice. I wanted my daughter to have an opportunity, and so I took her out. And this is the same day that they got their Halloween costumes. She was Ghost Spidey, so it's like purple and white and some other light colors. So she's Ghost Spidey. Well, she wanted to wear that. There was no talking her out of it. I was like, sis, this is not hunting attire. And she's like, I'm wearing it. I was like, okay, let's go. Probably not going to see anything anyways. And so I loaded her up in the car. Monzi actually drove over. He wanted to come do some filming. And so we went out to a place that's like half an hour from here. A very special place to me. And we went up there and I had seen deer. I'd taken my son already with me a couple times up to this spot. I knew there was deer in the area, but the odds of actually killing something are super slim. We went up there and we walk up to a cut, spend a little while there, found some deer, and actually killed a buck with her next to me. She was climbing on my back. There's videos of her jumping and like bouncing on me like I'm a horsey. Like while I'm laying on the ground prone, Monzi's next to me trying to get footage of the deer, and she's bouncing all around on my back. And the deer was at like 500 yards. I was like, yeah, I can't get steady
Yeah,
enough with
this
you
is
climbing. Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the 10-pound pillow, we call it, which is like an Armageddon
Yeah,
sandbag in the bag. It
yeah.
weighs 10 pounds. I was pretty steady, but it's like, a little bouncing here. I'm like, it's not going to work. So we readjusted and she sat next to me. And then we ended up shooting that buck together and we drove out there and she got to go touch it and look at it and be a part of that as well.
I wonder years later if those will be like core memories or if she's too young.
I got
Do you even
videos so
have
she can
memories
watch
at
them.
2?
Yeah. Yeah, too. I doubt she'll remember it. She still talks about it though. It's like it makes you wonder like how much kids will remember. That's which is part of why I started filming. Like I want them to be able to look back and see all the stuff we did when they were growing up. But like she still talks about it. She's like, my buck, my buck. Especially when we're eating dinner and something and we're having deer. She's like, is this my buck? That kid's like, no, it's my buck. And they start arguing about whose buck it is. But they still talk about that stuff. So hopefully she'll remember for a long time.
Dude, I love it. All right. So that's the end of October. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
slam-packed October. You
Yeah, it
got
was
your
busy. It was
biggest
fun.
mule deer. You dropped 2 deer in Oregon, all in the same month. That is crazy.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like I went into Wyoming willing to eat my tag. Like that was part of the thing too, is I had a mindset shift this year. Like before, I mean, you've been a part of my journey for a long time.
Yeah.
You met me when I was still a lame archery hunter. And it's like I'm just kidding. I might pick up the bow again this year. Uh, but anyways, you met me when I was like still learning all this stuff, and I'm still learning, obviously. But you've seen my journey the whole time. Like I've been a person that shot the first legal animal that came up. I always tell everybody, I'll shoot the ones you pass. And so because I was still learning. I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have like aside from the people I've met along the way, I didn't have anyone to show me how to big game hunt like growing up. And so like I'll just kill on the first thing I found. Like I'm a true believer. You need to kill to get good at killing. And so it's like I
Yeah.
didn't pass a lot of animals. And so this year I changed that though. I was like, you know what? One, I'm taking my kids. With my kids, the rule was it had to be a Forky or bigger. Because I was willing to shoot a smaller animal with them to have that experience, but
Yeah.
I wasn't willing to shoot a baby because I want something that you're still proud of at the end of the day. Plus, I'm trying to also teach that to them, that we don't just kill anything for no reason, or just to kill it.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be a reason. And for us, it's always the eating it. And then I also want it to be something that they're proud of, And I don't knock anybody that shoots small animals. I've shot small things. I went into this season, although if I'm not with my kids, the goal is to kill a mature animal. And I know that means you got to eat tags. And that was something I was willing to do. Like going to Wyoming, I went into that one wanting to make sure Monzi killed a buck because when he went in 23 with me, he didn't have a deer tag. So I went knowing that I wanted to help him kill his buck, and I wanted my dad to kill a giant. He's taught me everything I know when it comes to hunting, and he taught me turkey hunting. He instilled this love for the outdoors in me. So I wanted him to kill a buck that was a wall hanger for him, and we accomplished that. So I was willing to eat my tags. Same thing in Oregon. I was willing to eat my tag because I wanted to kill mature animals. Arizona was the same thing. I wanted to kill my biggest bull. So it's just a little bit of like a mindset shift this
Yeah.
year that it's just like, it's crazy to me. Like when I sit here and I think about it, like how it all worked out, right? You got the 2 and the 4-year-old, which it didn't even have to kill small animals with them. I got lucky and killed nice animals with them in that aspect. It's like I filled all my Wyoming tags. I filled my Oregon tags, filled my Arizona tag. Like the odds of all that happen, just sit here and
Yes. The
blessed.
odds of
Like
all of that
yeah,
happening.
just so blessed, with the opportunity. Like a lot of it, I firmly do believe is putting myself in the right place at the right time, which
Yeah.
we'll probably get into, but it's exactly like what happened in Arizona. Like Arizona was a
Yeah.
grind, but it felt like it was a culmination of like everything I've learned coming together. So yeah, so then after Oregon, so after I killed my 2 bucks in Oregon, it was time to head to Arizona. And I still have an Oregon tag in my pocket. I got an elk tag in my pocket still, but it was time to head to Arizona. So we loaded up the camper. That was the other thing too. Is like I intentionally took my family on all of these out of state hunts.
Yeah.
So like when we went to Wyoming, bless my parents, they kept my kids for like 5 days and they flew the kids out with them. My wife and I got to go on a little vacation, but then we took the camper, we parked it at the Airbnb. The family was with me the whole time in Arizona. We weren't together, but they went with me to Arizona. So in Wyoming, we were all together, the hunting
Yeah. The
together, doing all
Arizona
this stuff.
trip is not one
No,
that
the
a
Arizona
2-year-old
trip,
and
I made that
4-year-old is
clear
going
to
to
my
work.
wife. I was like, you're not gonna see me. Like, you're an hour
Yeah.
and a half away. I left her with her brother, my brother-in-law, and her mom flew in, but we got to spend the drive together. So it's like those intentional times of spending family time. Like we got 5 days, I think, of family time on a
Yeah.
hunting trip just by the driving because we drive all day. We'd park, we'd camp. I mean, it was cheap and we stayed at like not trailer park, like
Yeah.
truck
Down
stops.
by the river.
We stayed down by the river. Yeah, we stayed at truck stops, which was probably just as bad. But we would stay at these truck stops, and it was just fun for the kids. But we got to spend 5 extra days together, and then I dropped them off, and they spent time with their family. And then I came back, and I spent a day with them at camp, with them showing them the elk, and then we just did family stuff. And so I just was super intentional with my family this year, which helped a lot. But yeah, so then we headed down to Arizona and killed a bull. Spoiler alert down there
Yeah.
after a true grind. It was actually like Arizona is an incredible place, but it was so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
The
Yeah.
the Arizona trip, nobody's touched on that. Monzi didn't
Yeah.
really dive into it. He said, "Hey, we'll let Cody." So give us a little bit more details with the Arizona hunt.
Yeah. So Arizona was like my big hunt for the year. Like I didn't really do much for elk in Oregon because I wanted to focus on Arizona. After I found out I drew the tag, like I did my homework and making sure I put myself in the right positions at the right times to get lucky and have that animal walk out. After I found out I reached out to Hunting Fool. I reached out to them and got the previous tag holder list. So they sent me a list of all the people that have had it. I contacted every single one of the people on that list. People were willing to share information on where they had seen elk. A lot of them were like, oh, we didn't see anything, but by talking to them, you learned that all they did was drive around. So no wonder. But you take a piece of information from them. I started Googling, started learning that there's studies in the area on the animal movement because there's a major highway in the area. So you can get the data on collared animals. So like I had ideas on where animals are moving. Then you got to keep in mind a lot of that's cows. So it's not exactly where you're going to want to be, the last week of November, but it gets you an idea on where animals are. And then I started talking to biologists. I talked to game wardens. I reached out to like every single person that I possibly could. I got to talk to some locals through connections that I had in the outdoor industry, like Colby at Bear Hunting Magazine. He knew a guy in Arizona. And so he just reached out to him and he was able to give me some just general tips and tactics. Like nobody wants to tell you where their honey hole is, obviously. But
Yeah.
he was just like, hey, check for water, try this, do that. And I just did tons of homework. I had like 500 waypoints coming in. I spent honestly dozens and dozens and dozens of hours prepping for this hunt. And then when we get there, it's just so different. Like, it's so different. Like, I felt prepared on where to go, but I was so stressed out when we got there. Like, my biggest worry was you're gonna get there and not see anything, not gonna do this tag justice. It's not like a trophy tag by any means. I put in for a hunt that has 825 tags. It's
Yeah.
not a secret unit. It's not any of that stuff. But there was gonna be people, and even the game warden, he told me that. He's like, dude, you and 824 other people. He's like, you're gonna be in the same spots. And so, but we get there. The first night we glass up probably 300 elk. Talk about a relief. You know, granted they're
Yeah.
all cows and raghorn bulls, but it's like, well, if plans
There's
go
elk
crap,
here.
there's one I can shoot right there, you know? And the crazy part too is they were all by where these people were camping, and everybody's driving right past these herds. You can't see them unless you climb up on these knobs. They're tucked into little things. So we spent 2 days scouting, 2.5 days scouting in Arizona. We found a lot of elk. I mean, in those few days, we probably found 1,000+ elk. I found one bull that, after talking to a few people, was probably like a 350 class bull. It was so windy and shaky though that you can mostly just see frame in the video, but he was big enough to get you excited. And killing him was such a different story though. Like, that was the problem that we would run into. Access was so hard. Everybody told me that I talked to you, bring a side by side, bring a side by side. Most people just are scared to scratch their truck. That's not me. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take my truck down these sketchy roads, you know? No, you literally couldn't get down the roads because I don't think Arizona Fish and Game has ever graded a road. And so it's like, we're climbing boulders. And then the bad part was it rained 2 weeks leading up to us getting there. Like, the muzzleloader hunt guys just got rained out. So it was like this clay type brown red soil mixed with mud. We got stuck in one spot and we had to wench ourselves out. But it's like, you just couldn't get to places. Like, there was spots where there were like these bogs, and my dad, I had his truck, and he just drive like four-wheeling it through these mud to get there. We ran into these dudes on a side-by-side that told us we were nuts for being back there with our truck, but we just couldn't get anywhere. Like, we had a four-wheeler with us, but the problem is there's three of us, one four-wheeler. Like, you got to shuttle. So, like, okay, how long is it going to take me to shuttle you 5 miles to then come back to get the other guy to shuttle him in? So, like, we're just running into issue after issue with access. So, like, where those big bulls were, that was a four-wheeler ride back to where they were. And so we ended up going back in there opening morning. Like, we got up 4 hours before the sun came up just to
Yeah.
have enough time. Plus, it was then a mile hike in to get to the glassing knob. But yeah, then opening morning came and sounded like a war zone, dude. There was gunshots everywhere. Like, I've never seen this before. There's gunshots everywhere. There was these dudes that had come in behind us. They were like 800 yards behind us on a different knob. I swear they shot over a dozen times at an elk that was at the base of our hill. Finally, they got him because they started hooting and hollering. And then I'm watching my drainage, and then there's these two dudes walking through the drainage, like literally just through the middle of it. And then I had side by sides coming down the road, which it's dead end roads. So they just drive right past my four-wheeler to get in here. So it was just crazy. And then they shot my elk that I was watching. then and then we sat there all day. The only other elk we saw was on a far hillside running from someone else probably. And so the next day we went into a quiet area, which is like think of it like a wilderness area. Went in there, saw a lot of elk, saw a few hundred elk, tried to make a play on a 5-point, but he didn't stand still long enough. We weren't quite ready. I was a little behind on getting the gun. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to shoot him. Didn't get a good enough look. And then he walked out of my lives. And I kid you not, 5 minutes later, there was a gunshot right where he went. So someone else killed him. Like, there was just so many people. It was nuts. And then that evening, I was like, you know what? Screw it. We're going back. Like, my gut told me, go back, do something that might be hard, and it's going to work out. So we went back to this spot where we had seen a bull night 2 of scouting.
Yeah.
The night 2 of scouting. And we climbed up on this knob. We'd actually met a local that I had talked about him in my application. He was a guy that was up there. You could tell he didn't know a whole lot. And his wife was the one that had the tag. And it was her first elk tag. And they're just like, yeah, we haven't seen anything. You know, I'm like, what are you talking about? There's elk everywhere. And it's like, but same kind of philosophy. They're driving around mostly, climbing up on these little knobs and looking. He's like, we found one bull on this knob. You know, he's up on this hill over here, but we haven't seen him in a few hours. And so I was like, all right, well, is it cool if we like hang out? Light's fading. He's like, yeah, stay here, gloss around, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, if we find him, I'll tell you. And so, like, while we're talking to him, it turns out they're just willing to kill any bull. Like, as long as it's not a spike, they want to kill any bull. And I start showing him pictures of all these bulls I've seen. He's like, we'd shoot that one. We'd shoot that one. We'd shoot that one. I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you guys exactly where to go. We sat down, showed him some maps. And I'm like, right here, you need to climb up on this knob opening morning. look this direction. You will see the elk. They were there 2 days in a row for us. I said, they will be there. There is like 500 elk in this area. There's some nice little 5x5 rags. We showed him videos. He's like, oh, yeah, we'd shoot those. And so I told him, I said, we dropped him some pins, told him exactly where to go, what directions to glass. And then he ended up leaving. He's like, all right, well, I don't need to glass here anymore. They left at like prime time. And we found the big bull that they were looking for. We actually found him up on the hill. My dad spotted him. And he's like, yeah, you guys can come kill this one. We're going to the other spot. It's a lot easier to hunt over there too. And then a few days later, we get a picture of his wife standing over a bull that they killed in that area. You know, it's
and it was a 420 bull, which is crazy.
Yeah,
You just gave
yeah, they killed my giant. No, but yeah, dude, they were stoked out of their mind, which just goes back to like helping each other out. But we met him at the top, and then that's where we had seen a bull. So we hiked in there. The plan was, though, do something that isn't normal. I left my dad and Monzi on the glassing knob, and I took the 4-wheeler, and I said, I'm just headed to the hill, because if they're on the hill, I'm not going to have enough time to drive all the way around, hike up this hill. I think it was like 800 feet to the top. And the bull was almost at the top last time. I'm like, if you have 20 minutes of daylight, you're not going to have enough time. So I like, screw it. I'll just go over there and I'll start hiking. Worst case is I waste some time. But I said, my gut tells me that I need to be there if I want to kill. So I left Monzi and my dad on the glassing knob. I drove all the way around on the 4-wheeler, and I just started hiking the hill. And while we're hiking the hill, my dad's like, hey, just go around the other side, the shaded side. We'll watch this side and see what you see. And when I get up to the top, I'm literally at the top of the hill. I get to the top, and we've got like 15 minutes of daylight left. So it's getting to be like, or 15 minutes. No, it was somewhere in there. It was not very much time.
Yeah.
Getting to be prime time. And so I start glassing around, and sure enough, I pick up a group of bulls on the other side of the hill, down and across this little drainage. I range them. They're like 1,700 yards. I go, well, that's a little too far to shoot. So it was like a group of 5 bulls, and the smallest I saw was a raghorn at the time. I was like, well, they're good enough. So I just started running, ran down the hill, tripping, trying not to fall and break my leg, running. I get down there and I hear, there's this 4-wheeler coming. No, I thought it sounded like a 4-wheeler, but most people out there are side by side coming through the trees. I'm like, oh no, please don't stop. Like, there's no way they could see these elk, but like if they had already known they were there, because as soon as I started dropping elevation, I'm fairly confident in my shooting. If I could get a good solid 600-700 yard shot, I would have shot these bulls. There was no wind. It was dead calm. But the problem is the PJs are out there. So as soon as I started dropping elevation, I lost them. I couldn't see them anymore. And so I just cut the distance. I was like, well, worst case, I have to come back tomorrow. So I just go, and as I'm getting down to where the road is, because there's a road that wraps around this hill. As I get to the road, side by side comes through the trees, and I'm just standing there waiting, like, hurry up, like, go.
Move through.
Like, I don't want to like cross the road right in front of them and then be like,
go right
what
now.
Are you doing out here? Like, you're miles from the nearest spot you could have walked in from. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's some elk over here. I just waited for them to go through the trees, and I saw their taillights in the trees, and I ran right behind them, just ran across the road, got over there, got to where I had it marked on the map where the bulls were. It is so thick. Everyone told me to coming in, even the game warden stuff was like, hey, 2-way communication is legal in Arizona. Leave one person on the hill and you go in and they'll guide you into where the elk are. Well, I'm by myself now. I had my guides. They were just on the wrong side of the hill.
Yeah.
I go into where I had them marked, and as soon as I get there, I look up and there's a bull standing there. There's a little spike. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to shoot him. But then I see another one's butt go through the trees. And I was like, well, that was probably the giant. And I was like, this is over. They saw me. So then they started running. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be able to chase them. It was only 2 of them. So I go over to where it's like a tiny creek draw. Like, think like a 30-foot drop is all. But it was an old burn. So all the trees in the creek are burnt. And so I can see across the creek, and I just start moving along the edge, and I hear something across the creek. And like my gut is telling me, just keep looking. Like, don't trace these elk. Don't wait for anything. Like, just keep looking. And so I look. And sure enough, I find a bull standing on the other side, looking right at me. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I throw out my bipod all the way, because it's such an uphill angle. Like, there's no way you're laying down. And so I throw my bipod out all the way, and I get behind it, and I'm like, yep, not steady enough. So then I get my backpack off my back, put it down, rear support on my backpack, which is something that I had learned during NRL Hunter. And I get down, I'm steady. I feel steady. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, he's a shooter. Like, I can't see how many points he has because he's looking right at me, but I can see mass, our antlers. Like, I'm like, he's good enough. He's looking at me. I'm about ready to send it. There's a whole bunch of branches in the way. I'm like, I'm sending it. No, don't do that.
Break branches.
I was like, this bull, he can't be very far. I didn't even range him. I was like, he can't be very far. I'm shooting the 6.5 PRC. I was like, it's going to be pretty flat. I shoot a 147 ELDM. It's flat. I'm good out to like 300 yards if I don't even hold to still be in vital. So I was like, just hold a little bit high. And this bull just standing there looking at me, and I'm sending it through the branches. Like, no, that's irresponsible. That's how you wound something. And so I'm like, well, wait, it's either meant to be or it's not. There's younger Cody might have taken the shot, but it's like the maturing as a hunter. I was like, no, I'll wait. I'll be patient. It's either gonna work or it won't. And sure enough, dude, that bull just started walking slowly away from me. And I'm like, oh, he's going towards the opening. And so, like, if he keeps going another 5 yards, he's going to be in the open, no branches or anything. But he gets right to that spot. And I'm looking at him like, huh, do I shoot him in the back of the head? Like he's walking straight away from me. I'm very confident in my shooting ability. Like, they're talking sub 200 yards. I'm in my head. I'm like, did I shoot him in the head? I mean, I shot my deer with my son in the head. I'm like,
Yeah.
do I do that? Like, I practice a lot. I hand load, very, very confident in my shooting ability. I'm like, the setup I have, the rest is not that good. We'll be patient. It's either going to work or it's not. And I just give him the old, and he just stops, takes 2 steps, and it turns totally broadside.
No,
And
no.
I'm like, you made a mistake, buddy. And I just put it right behind his shoulder, slightly high. I squeeze it off, and I don't see impact because it's not a great setup. But I hear thwack, and I see him lunge up, and I'm like, got him. And he takes off running, and I'm just standing there in disbelief that this happened after the days of grinding, the pressure that we've seen, the access issues, all that stuff. I'm just so in disbelief that this actually worked out. And then I call my wife after I get up to the bull, and I call her, and I just started crying. I'm like, babe, I did it. It happened. Like, I was just so proud of myself in that moment. It just felt like the culmination of everything I've learned over the last few years came together in those moments. The patience, the maturing to wait for a good shot, the being in the right spot at the right time. Like, I knew the elk were in those areas. We knew that I needed to climb the hill to get up there. It felt like I made one decision after another that was the right decision to put me in that spot for the chance for that elk to be standing in the opening. And it was a culmination. I called my eyes, and she's like, are you crying? I was like, no. Maybe a little bit. And then it was the long hike back to get there. By the end of the night, it was 7.7 miles, 1,300 vertical. And that was just hiking. That didn't even include the 4-wheeler ride, all that stuff. So it was a long night, but yeah, that was Arizona. Then I came back to Oregon.
Unbelievable. Okay, now we got the details of that. Your year didn't finish. Monzi already told us about a later in the year elk. So you didn't just get 1 elk. You didn't just get 3 deer. You didn't just get the pronghorn. Finish out the year. And as you finish this out, give us your last big game animal. And then give us just some of the peripherals. You didn't just have big game. I think you got a couple of waterfowl. I think you got a coyote, some other stuff. So let's wrap that up. And then I want to ask, all right, what was your highlight? What did you really learn? So finish out your year with me.
Yeah. So then we came back, and freezers were full, so I wasn't set on killing another animal. I was totally fine just eating my tag. I ended up just picking up a damage control tag. So it's like a 6-month long season, and you can shoot an antlerless elk. And so I have this place. It's where I killed my buck. It is private timber company, but I have a family friend that has the lease to it, and so they give us permission to hunt on it. And so I knew that the elk were there, and it's in the damage control area now. It wasn't before. I was like, okay, well, we'll go up there and we can find elk. It's where I've archery hunted in the past. Okay, there's hundreds of elk up there. And so I was just waiting. I told Monzi, I was like, hey, I really want to help you try and get your cow. He's struggled for a while. I was like, I would help you kill your elk. You've worked hard. I want you to have an opportunity. Let's go up here and we'll try and kill 2 because I want to kill 1 too. I like elk meat. Like, my family eats wild game every single day. I called him one morning. I'm like, hey, let's go look. And we went up there. We killed 2 cows together. I told him, priorities, I want you to kill your elk. So I took him up. I'm filming him. This place is, like I said, very special. I know exactly where the elk are going to be. I know where they want to be, where they bed. So I go up there. I told him, this is a high opportunity hunt. We're not going to struggle a lot. I was like, the pack out's going to be the hardest part. And so we go up there. I call him. He comes. We meet him. We get in there. And as we're going in, we find him. I get him set up. He's like, oh, we're going to try and double team. It's so thick. I told him, no, you just shoot yours. And then if I can shoot one, I'll shoot one. Otherwise, I can always come back. The priority was for him to kill one. We get set up in the spot. He finds one. He gets a clear shot. I get it on video. He goes, wham, lets that elk have it. We see the elk fall over, and then the herd doesn't go anywhere. They just run down the hill. I'm like, all right, well, we go around and we climb up top. And then I get in there and I'm like, all right, well, I'll shoot one too. What are we get? Why
My
not?
tag's still good.
I got the tag in my pocket. And so
Yeah.
we get up there and he films me and I just let this cow have it.
Yeah.
And she ran like 100 yards and fell over dead.
Yeah.
And then,
Within minutes, both of you guys had one. And
yeah.
how far apart? I mean, I think you said like between where his was finished and yours finished was only like 200 yards or
Yeah,
something.
probably like
It was
200
pretty
yards.
crazy.
The crow flies. Yeah, it was just downhill a little bit. The herd didn't go. We're both shooting suppressed. The biggest thing that scared them was when the cow fell over. Like when mine fell over, that's when the herd ran. Like before that, they just were like, whoa, 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 what was that? And then old Linda just goes, yeah. And they're, oh, crap. You know, they took off running.
Linda's down.
Linda's down. So, yeah, so then that was technically the end of 25. And then I helped my sister right after the year ended. But yeah, that was kind of the end.
You have abandoned archery hunting, not forever,
not
for
forever.
the time being. And
I'm really tempted to pick it up this year. We'll see.
Yeah, you've gone headlong. I mean, you know, when I met you, you were all archery, and we went and did the on point experience. At that point, you had not really shot beyond 100 yards with a rifle. Oh my, how the times have changed in your life.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Ryder Cup event out there in May. I think that's going to be really fun to see. Now that you've shot a couple matches, and I'm sure you've got a couple more matches planned for this year, because once you start doing that,
it's addicting.
Dang, man. I know. That's all I kind of want to do.
I mean, it's got to be the hunts with my kids, you know, like those hunts with Arizona's epic, right? But it's like, I would trade Arizona to hunt with my kids in a heartbeat, you know, like especially with the turkey hunt with my son. Like we didn't dive into it too much, but dude, we were having a good time. Like I've got videos of him, like I'm hen calling, yip, 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 and he's over there dancing, you know, like it is loving life. And then we kill those birds and the other one's still standing there and he's like, you shoot that one too. And I'm like, he can't. And then he called grandma and grandpa and telling them. So I was like connecting the whole like multi-generations of turkey hunting. Like I think that hunt was probably like the highlight of my year, was like taking my son and actually killing one with him. Like you've been turkey hunting. Staying still enough is the hard part. Like luckily I had this blind that we packed in, but then getting him to be quiet. So like I think that was probably my highlight, you know, like killing the buck with my daughter. Like we touched on that stuff too, but I would trade those hunts for my Arizona hunt in a heartbeat. Outside of the stuff we already talked about though, I did kill a duck across the street. I'm not a huge waterfowl hunter, but I have a dog. We would go over and we jump shoot the pond because we don't have a good enough fly zone that like I want to go sit over there. But we'll go jump shoot the pond across the street. And so I took him over there and job shot some duck over him, and that was kind of full circle moment. I trained him. You know, I got him like 2 years ago. Trained him, haven't taken him duck hunting. Finally killed a duck over him. Killed a coyote also. Same kind of story. Not actively looking for a coyote. I was going to look for ducks. Saw the coyote. Went back, got my rifle, and like smoked him. And then I've tried killing him before. It's this dang coyote over here that's killed some of the neighbors' cats and stuff before. And so like that's why as soon as I saw him, the whole hunt changed. And I've tried to kill him before, and he always like gets away, gets into the timber before I can get back. And so finally got over there and killed him. Did some prairie dog hunting in Wyoming with my dad, which was fun because it's just special to do things like that with my dad. We took the 22s with like these 30 mag clips. You're shooting more than like say 100 yards with a 22. So you're like pop, pop, pop. And you just see splash, splash, splash. And you're like, all right, up a little bit, pop, 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 splash, splash, splash. And then like you're like trying to walk it in onto these prairie dogs. So like we just had a blast doing that together. Did like the little attempted the sheep hunting. Yeah, and then helping people, the other stuff, like trying to get involved. I mean, I took one guy out. We didn't even talk about it. Yeah, I went to Eastern Oregon to go turkey hunting too. Took my brother and Tyler, which is the guy that I was mentoring. Took him and my brother to Eastern Oregon to an area we've never been to, and killed 2 birds in 2 days, which was kind of wild.
With all these experiences, if you had to guess, how many days do you think you didn't do something hunting related?
Something? Yeah, not very many. Yeah, no. So I was like, oh, you're gonna ask me how many days I was in the woods? A lot. You know, but no, just doing something hunting related.
Yeah,
like,
I mean it's
every
day.
Lot. Yeah, I mean I is probably pretty close to every day. Like imagine there's some days I don't think about it, but otherwise, I mean I have a range across the street, so I shoot a lot. I look at maps a lot. Listen to podcasts a lot. I read reports, biology reports a lot. I just I'm always doing something.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what it takes to be at the table right now where you are at this Outdoorsman of the Years. All 4 of you guys live that kind of life and are that kind of dedicated to your craft. And it's really fun just doing these stories. If you had to say one kind of lesson that you learned this year from the 2025 season, kind of narrow it down. I mean, I know there's a million lessons you learn on every hunt because you're always learning. That's one of the things about you. You're a student of the game. But if you could kind of narrow something down to go like, all right, what's one nugget that was a big takeaway for you from 2025?
I'll give you two. I know I didn't ask for it, but I'm gonna give you two because they're slightly different. I would say patience is huge because a lot of people don't have enough patience.
Yeah.
Patience on like waiting for an animal, patience in the ability to pass smaller animals. Patience is huge. Patience is what helped me kill my turkey with my son because we sat there for hours. We were there for a long time.
Yeah.
Patience for turkey hunting is huge. Patience with my daughter's buck. I call them my kids, but they didn't shoot at it. My daughter's buck. Patience. We saw a deer, and I told Monzi, I said, we're not leaving this cut because you don't leave deer to find deer during the rut. Or it's not, it's like pre-rut. And so it's like, I told him, we're not leaving. Like, there's a lot of other cuts we can go check where I know I killed other bucks before. I said, but we're not leaving. We sat there, we sat there for probably an hour before we found the deer or killed him. And then Arizona, patience and hiking that hill, waiting for the right opportunity. My antelope, same story. I had to be patient, wait for a good opportunity, wait to find the right buck. I could have killed a buck the night before, but it was up against the property line and like all these different stuff, like not forcing them. Like just if you will be patient, you will be more successful. I'm a
Yeah.
firm believer in that. And then the second thing would be that I am also now a firm believer that every single hunter should do an NRL hunter event.
I
Whether
am
you're
too.
doing, I'm trying to find ways to get my dad and my brother to do it. Granted,
Yeah.
they don't have any small caliber rifles, which is what the biggest hang up is. I'm trying to get Monzi to do it. I told him, like, you need to do it. Like, he's going to come out for Ryder Cup, but like, I'm also going to do Madras. Well, I'm hoping I get a ticket. I'm planning to do Madras, which is the only other match I'm going to do, which is 2 weeks after Ryder Cup. And I'll
Yep.
compete in that one. But it's like, everybody needs to do one of those because you will learn so much. Just go do skills. It's like $150 for 2 days, 18 stages. If you miss every single time,
Doesn't matter.
that's 8 rounds per time that you're getting practice, like my
Yes.
first skills match, so I did terrible. And then I improved. I got a new equipment that I need. I need a new bipod and I just learned a new system. A second match, I'm shooting with a handheld rangefinder. Everybody else out there has got rangefinding below binos, and I still pulled off a second place. As someone that hasn't shot for more than 3 years. Like
Yeah.
that's it. But it's like I learned positional shooting, which was huge, and I spent time this
Yes.
summer before we went to Wyoming. I had Monzi, Kyle, who's my brother, and Dwayne over, and I practiced a different time with my dad. Positional shooting, teaching them what I had learned at NRL Hunter, because like tripod rear, getting your bipod out all the way, putting your tripod in the back. But you wouldn't know these things unless you go to these events and you watch other people and you learn. It's like I killed my antelope tripod rear because I needed to get above the grass to be able to see where he was. I killed my cow elk tripod rear because same story. We're in Oregon where it's thick. The underbrush was too thick. If I laid prone, there was no way to get up. So I had tripod rear. It's like the positional shooting of like building a good solid position. Like when we were in Wyoming, when I had my brother help, when I found a deer I passed that he wanted to shoot, like helping him build a position that was steady. And then I had Dwayne come over, which was Monzi probably talked about. Dwayne is one of our mutual friends.
Yeah.
Helped him kill his first buck. Not first buck, sorry, first out of state mule deer. And so I helped him build a position and I'm like walking them through, and like the communication is another thing that you learn, the spotter shooter communication through watching teams at NRL. I've never done teams, but like
Yeah.
you learn so much, especially what equipment doesn't work. Like my bipod that I had before, I thought was awesome until you start getting into these positions that I've never been in before until I was at a match. And I realized I can't get high enough. If I'm on a slope like this, I'm out of luck. So it's like you just learn so much, and the confidence you gain. Because I went to that first match, and I've shot a lot. I can shoot 600 yards over here across the street, and that's like the most I've shot. I've never really shot further than that, only a couple times. You get to these matches, the average was like 700 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes these 300-yard shot feel easy. Like that buck I shot with my daughter was 450. I just knew I just needed him to turn sideways. Like I was so calm and steady, and he was dead walking. I just needed the opportunity. It's like I wouldn't have that confidence though without NRL Hunter. And so it's like those two things: patience and NRL Hunter. One match and you'll be set. You will learn so much.
I can't wait to do one of those matches with you, Cody.
Next year it's on. Next year, I'm gonna try and do a bunch of NRL hunter
Let's go,
matches,
baby.
and I wanna travel to one, is, like, my goal.
Yeah,
I wanna go travel, and so I either wanna come out to you or I wanna go to, the one hosted by Vortex
yeah,
and go out to that one. I think one of those would be fun
yeah,
because I could see some of the people that I've talked to but never met out there before.
yep.
I think those would be cool.
Again, the winner of this Outdoors of the Year gets the item of their choice from Vortex Catalog. If I'm winning that, I know exactly what I want. It is that 12 by 50 Vortex Talon.
Yeah,
I mean, oh my gosh, is
same.
it incredible? All right. Any final words?
Just take your kids hunting. There's a lot of dads out there that are even I was afraid to take them hunting, when they're so young. Like, when do you start kids? How
Yeah,
early is too early? Like, you're a dad. How early is too early? Is 4 years old too early? Is 2 years old too early? Like, just take them out though. Like I said, I went into this season not expecting to kill a whole lot. And the Lord blessed me because I truly believe I changed my mindset to what mattered the most, and that was my family, and getting them exposed. So like if you're listening and you've got kids and you don't take them hunting, you have no excuse. Take them
yeah,
out. Doesn't matter how young they are, just get the kids out there. That's
yeah,
that's like they're the next generation too. Like the conservation aspect of it, those are the ones going to be carrying the torch. Like how do you expect them to want to carry the torch if they don't have a love for the outdoors? It's like my whole goal this year was to plant a seed of love for the outdoors in my kids.
yeah,
I think I succeeded. They keep asking me when we're going to go hunting. My son just asked me the other day when we're going to go shoot another buck. Trying to explain to them then seasons is hard.
yeah. Why can't we just shoot one, Dad? There's a buck right there.
Yeah, we saw a turkey the other day. My son's like, "Let's go shoot it." It's like a few more months still, but yeah, just do it, man. It's hard. You're probably not going to kill as many animals, but that the investment is worth it.
Yeah. Now, I know we're not even gonna dive into it just because we're out of time, but on the application that the judges will be looking at, we do talk more specifically about like conservation and that type of work. I know you're a member of Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Wild Turkey Federation. So I know you're a member of those things. So is there anything that you want to kind of make a quick note of before we wrap up?
I don't think there wasn't anything special this year. Like, I'll be completely honest and straight up about that. And that goes back to prioritizing my family. Like in the past, I've been more involved, but this year it's like I took a step back because I had to take a little bit of a reality check that I was doing too much that didn't
Yes.
involve my family. And I took a step back. Like last year, I helped out with banquets. I was an ODF volunteer for teaching hunters ed, like all this different stuff. But this year it was Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Wild Turkey Foundation, Howl for Wildlife, and the Oregon Hunters Association, each for their own individual reason. Rocky Mountain and Turkey are like two of the big national ones,
Yeah.
and Turkey because it's special to me. It's where I got my start. Rocky Mountain Elk because of the habitat, and I love what they're doing. And then Oregon Hunters Association is so good at keeping us informed and like advocating it for us on the state level. Like they
Yeah.
actually just introduced a bill to try and legalize corner crossing in Oregon. Like they just put the bill out there like, hey, they did this in Wyoming. Like, let's get this legalized in Oregon. And then,
Wow. That would be
yeah, it's
huge.
brand new. Like it's brand new. We're gonna see if it gains any traction. They're trying to get it. I think they're trying. I got to read into it a little bit more. I just saw it the other day. I think they're trying to get it put on the ballot. I don't remember the legality of it, but it was like
Yeah.
this huge new push they're doing. And then Howl for Wildlife because I'm not great at keeping up to date on what's going on in other states. Like you probably didn't have any clue about what's going on in Oregon, But
Yeah.
Howl for Wildlife, like they just sent out a message the other day about the Catalina Island, like the mule deer. They're going to
Yep.
try and go in and just
Yeah,
wipe
go
them out.
eradicate all
Yeah,
of them on there, and there's a thriving
and
population
instead of
of
letting
them.
people go hunt, and all this other stuff, they're just going to go shoot them from
Shoot them from
helicopters.
helicopters.
It's like, but nobody would know about that without an organization like Howl, who just sent me an email like, "Hey, here's what's going on.
Yep.
If you feel strongly about it, here's how you can send stuff. Here's where to send it." Like that's why I'm a part of each one of these. Is they all give me a little bit of something that I wouldn't have otherwise in the conservation world.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, because of how I know, about the Florida bear season. I know stuff
Mhm.
that's going on in the debates that are happening in Washington. I'm grateful that Oregon didn't send more wolves to Colorado. Like
Well, in
all of those
Colorado,
things.
the cats they were trying to do last year, like Howell was huge in that. I truly believe that them helping mobilize all these people across the US
Yeah.
to advocate for people in other states is what helped push that away. And so yeah, they all play a big part. So like I said, I ain't gonna lie, I was not hands-on this year a whole lot. I had
Yeah.
other commitments in my mind, but I do as much as I can from home I guess you
Yeah.
could call it. Investing in kids and investing in mentorship and other people, like, that's kinda where I focus, because you gotta have people to carry the torch too.
Yeah, absolutely. All these are seasons of life, and we'll be in different seasons of life where we can,
Yeah.
you know, some days it'll be time that you'll have more of, some days it'll be more financial resources that you can pour in,
Yep.
but even just the awareness and being able to communicate and just the casual conversations that you have with everyday people that may ask you a question, because that
Yep.
stuff's happening all the time too.
It is. It's amazing what the miscommunications there are out there about hunting too. Like, people are blown away sometimes when you tell them, "Yeah, there's a season for deer hunting." They're like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
it's just simple stuff like that. It's like it all adds up. It's like everybody plays their part, and right now that feels as though that's my part.
That's awesome, man. Well, Cody, congratulations on being a finalist again. Is this your second or third year that you've been a finalist in the Outdoorsman of the Year? So you have never
I think
won this one.
no, no, I've always been beaten. No, I always get beat in this one.
Yeah.
No, this I think second. Probably, yeah, second and final. I don't think I'll ever have a season that tops this. So
Well,
yeah.
I think Monzi's the only newcomer this year of the four. Saya
Yeah,
has been
for
in it.
outdoorsman. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Dishman has been in it. Each of you guys have had an opportunity to be in the finals of another,
Well, I think each of us has
league.
won something within Hidden Hunt League, haven't we? Because
I don't know if Josiah has.
didn't he win something that was hosted by Mountain Tough? I
Maybe
thought.
he may have gotten that Deer of the Year or something, or maybe he just won a Mountain Tough subscription when he was a finalist. I
Yeah,
know
because
he's
I
been.
remember I thought there was something, because I remember when it was announced who the finalists were, I was like, "Oh, we've all won something." Or maybe I'm wrong. 'Cause, yeah, I thought that all of us had done at least
Yeah,
one win so far within Hunt League.
this is the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Everybody's rising to the top, and there's a lot of good hunters out there. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
really fun just reading the different applications that came in this year.
Mhm.
And, there's a little bit for me where I'm like, oh, I want to get some of these new people, new voices, new faces kind of in there. But I can't do that ethically and feel
Mhm.
like I'm taking away. Like I was blown away with the season you have. I always think like, how's Cody ever going to top this? How's Cody ever going to top that? And then
Yeah.
you have a season like you had this year, and I'm like, it's undeniable. And
Yeah,
that
this
was
is the
like
one. I don't think it'll ever be topped. What other season can I have this much success with my kids on all these different states? Like, odds of hunting 3 states are slim anyways. On a one
in
other
this
state?
stage of
Yeah.
life, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, and especially as my kids get older and we're focusing on them. So it's like, I don't think this will at least not be topped for a long, long time till I'm old and rich and can go do some crazy hunts.
I know.
But yeah,
Yes,
no,
I
I,
know.
I'm I think it's pretty epic.
No, like this next fall, my son Sam, he'll be a senior in high school. He's playing
Hmm.
football, and I'm like, well, not missing any games.
Yeah.
And I'm going to limit all those opportunities that I would normally want to pursue because it's like, no, there's just other things in life this year that are going to trump that.
There's more
So
important stuff.
I'll spend a little bit more time doing the NRL hunters. Maybe,
Yeah.
I'll get to do the Ryder Cup in May. So I'm going to kind of diversify my calendar, but it'll probably be less big game hunting this year than it has been in the past couple, but should still be a great 2026. So
Yeah.
good luck as you head into 2026. I don't know that the goal should ever be to top it, but let's just continue to add to it. Keep chasing. All right. Well, thank you for spending the time. And I think you've left no doubt as to why you deserve to be one of the top finalists for the 2025 Outdoorsman of the Year. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.